and as we come to worship God. It's especially a good morning for me to be back here at my home church. Because I haven't been here for a while. Probably, I guess, for my mother's memorial service in December of 1995. I've been here on a Sunday morning or in a worship service. So I'm so glad to be here and honored that you have invited me. So happy Women's Day, St. Thomas. I bring you greetings from the nation's capital. It's been a little crazy in D.C. lately. That's because the Mystics won the WNBA, sorry, Chicago Sky fans, and the Nationals are going to the World Series, sorry, Cup fans. But it's also a little sad as we celebrate and remember the life of Elijah Cummings. But even in all that, I've been able to sort of shut out the noise as I reflected on my return here to St. Thomas. It's a bit surreal being here, but it's also very exciting. And it's also very moving because both of my children are here, and one of my granddaughters and my great-grandson is here. So that's exciting. And I do wish my mother, Phoebe Nance, was here, sitting there in the front row like she used to sit. I was confirmed at St. Thomas about 70 years ago. I was married here almost 60 years ago. Both of my children were baptized here, except 2 days before my daughter was born, the old St. Thomas burned down, and so we were worshiping at Trinity Church, so she was baptized there. Being back here, it's been a long time anyway. And I was ordained in 1984, as she said. So you must arrive where you start. This is my native heritage. This is my church home. Finally, I am home. My mother used to always say she wants to see her flowers when she's living. I'm having mine today. Amen. I want to extend my gratitude and appreciation to the Women's Day Committee and to Muriel for making this possible. Thank you for including me and thinking of me, for wanting me to even be here. Who loved you as a child? Therapists often ask that question to new clients. My answer is St. Thomas. St. Thomas loved me as a child. The women who worshiped here were my anchors. They were an intimate force and a co-pilot in everything that I have accomplished. I owe my gratitude to their whispers and their light. Toni Morrison wrote in her Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, Beloved, she is a friend of mine. She gathers me in. The pieces I am, she gathered them and gave them back to me, all in right order. That perfectly describes the St. Thomas women. As I stand here, I say to them, to those who put me in the right order and live in the Spirit, thank you. Mercy, Asante. My St. Thomas story began when I was 10. The first piece of mail I ever remember receiving with my name on it was from St. Thomas. That may not mean much in today's culture, but in 1984, in our Jim Crow world, I was excited. St. Thomas had invited me to come to Sunday school. My family, we worshiped at the Baptist church across the street from where we lived. My grandfather had been the associate pastor there, and so the family remained loyal in his memory. But then I got something in the mail. I showed my mother. She wasn't very impressed. My father was only home on weekends working in Michigan Monday through Friday, and my mother had her plans set. There was no changing it. So I told my godfather, Uncle Benny, my mother's oldest brother, about the letter inviting me to Sunday school. Uncle Benny, I think, was senior warden here at the time. His house was where my parents got married by Father Southern, who was the rector here at St. Thomas. 1934, before all of you all were born. Uncle Benny came and took me and my sister Edna and my cousin Theania to church that Sunday. That first time I walked through the St. Thomas doors, I felt at home. I refused to go anywhere else. Eventually, my mother came around and was confirmed, as were many members of my large extended family, as was I. I remember my Sunday school teachers, Ruth Montrose, Ernestine Britton, and Maud L. Southern, the rector's wife. Lorraine Green, a member here, was a friend of my mother's. She and her husband, Judge Green, had hosted my parents' engagement party. And years later, she encouraged my interest in AKA, and after I was made, she encouraged me to run for national office. And she was a steadfast member here. The St. Thomas women taught me, share, forgive, speak kindly, be patient, love, be content, have faith, dream big, dream big, dream big. So much joy in my life comes from so many women who have sacrificed. But I also can't forget the other young people who were here as well, besides Edna and Theania, Bela and Maggie, and the two Jimmys, Jimmy Dawson and Jimmy Smith, as well as Laverne and Billy Wetzel. A few years ago, there was a phrase that was often repeated in a political realm that I felt all the way through my skin. It was, nevertheless, she persisted. Nevertheless, she persisted. I felt that phrase spiritually and emotionally and intellectually. She persisted. That phrase was about me. It's about every woman of color I know. You keep going without giving up, regardless of the obstacles, despite the adversity. You fight for what you believe in, because there are things in the world that are worth changing and fighting for. In the Gospel according to Luke today, Jesus tells a story, the parable of the persistent widow. So whenever I hear the phrase, she persisted, I think of her. The widow Jesus described, she was a poor woman, perhaps a woman of color. She had been wronged. Something had been done to her. She was victimized. The widow begged the judge, give me justice against my adversary. Each day she came, pleading her case to the judge. Each night she returned home, feeling empty. It wasn't just that the judge wasn't a holy man and he didn't care about God that rankled the widow. He didn't care about what people thought, and he surely didn't hold the widow in any kind of esteem or high regard. But he was annoyed that she wouldn't give up and leave him alone. That word no meant nothing to her. How dare her? He was powerful, she was marginal. But she wouldn't remain quiet. She wouldn't stay in her place. Finally he gave in. Though I neither fear God nor respect man, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will give her justice, so that she will not beat me down with her continually coming to see me. Jesus told this story, I believe, because he wanted his disciples to understand. If you continue to pray, if you don't give up, if you don't lose faith, you will be rewarded. Be persistent. Women have been persisting for a very long time, and human nature to look at struggle as current, as if right now is all there is. Because times are tense and desperate, the world is cruel and unkind, there is a lack of dignity and trust. How else do we explain Auntie Jefferson of Fort Worth being shot to death inside her own home because the police decided to shoot without announcing themselves as she stood in her front window? Women are still fighting for equal pay, for abortion rights, affordable health care, for reparations. We are fighting for Black women's maternal lives. The history of persistent women reminds us who our grandmothers were, who our aunts were, who our sisters were. They did not give in. They did not give up. They did not disappear. They refused to go away. They would not be silenced. They remained in the fight. They stood up for what was right. Someone in our family, someone in our church, and someone on our block, someone at our university, or someone at the housing authority, or someone in City Hall, or someone teaching children, or someone healing the sick. They were persistent. They did not reject the word no. Not black and no, not women and no, not equality and no, not slave. Ellen Craft was a slave who despised being a slave. She was fair-skinned and married. Her husband, William, was brown-skinned and loyal. With a brave plan and her husband's encouragement, Ellen Craft decided to escape her master by passing for white and pretending she was a man. Women didn't travel alone in those days. Her husband pretended he was her servant. Ellen cut her hair and wore very specific men's clothing: a top hat, a cravat, a jacket, tartan, and a tassel. That was the attire a slave owner would wear. Her arm was in a sling because she couldn't write. She needed to hide her lack of education. So there they were, once upon a time slaves, acting like slave owner and servant. Ellen and her husband traveled on first-class trains, slept in the best hotels, and once she even dined with the steamboat captain. They arrived in Philadelphia on Christmas Day. Ellen and her husband eventually moved to Beacon Hill in Massachusetts and were married in a Christian ceremony. She spoke about her escape in town hall settings, but because women were not allowed to speak in public, her husband William recited her words. But trouble was brewing. The Fugitive Slave Act became law, and bounty hunters went to Boston to receive the crabs. Abolitionists got word it moved the crabs from house to house to avoid capture. Eventually, the bounty hunters gave up. They were men. They didn't have Ellen Craft's persistence. They didn't have her guile, nor her fortitude, nor her desire. They ended up in England, started a school for girls, and after the Civil War, came back to Georgia and started a school for African-American girls. The desire of 20-year-old Sarah Harris was to go to school. Prudence Crandall accepted Sarah Harris, the daughter of a free black farmer, into her class. But it wasn't long before white parents demanded Prudence force Sarah to withdraw. Prudence refused. Why shouldn't Sarah learn? She was a willing student. Despite the rage Sarah's presence in vote, despite the fear for her safety and her aloneness, courage is often an only child. Prudence Crandall taught the lone black girl in her class. She taught the many white girls in her class. When the white students all withdrew, every single one of them, the school shut down. Prudence Crandall was energized. She embarked upon a mission to only educate black girls. She advertised on Monday, April 1833, she would open a school for the reception of young ladies and little misses of color. Word of the school spread and black parents began enrolling their daughters. On April 1833, 20 black girls from Boston, Providence, New York, and Philadelphia, plus areas in Connecticut, began their study at Miss Crandall's School for Young Ladies and Little Misses of Color. But persistent women are often met with rage and violence, and white men trying to protect something. In Connecticut, the white men in town tried to convince Prudence she was harming the safety of white residents by teaching black girls. They said the school would encourage social equality and intermarriage of whites and blacks. To which Prudence Crandall then replied, Moses had a black wife. She persisted. They eventually arrested her, and she and her husband had to move to Iowa. However, now in Connecticut, there is a statue in her honor for her bravery. For women, the question isn't who is going to let us thrive and rejoice and change institutions. It is who is going to stop us, for we are persistent. Who is going to stop Bree Newsom on a summery day in June 2017 when she climbed the 30-foot flagpole in Charleston, South Carolina on State House grounds. She was shouted at by policemen who told her to stop. When she took possession of the Confederate flag, she said, "In the name of Jesus, this flag has to come down. Amen. You come against me with hatred and oppression and violence. I come against you in the name of God. The flag comes down today." In our lives, yours and mine, what is going to come down today in Jesus' name? What are we willing to sacrifice? What are we willing to change? How much of God is in direct action, is in our direct actions, and how much is in our own self-interest, our own vanity, comfort, or willingness to let persistent women take the abuse and receive the glory while we watch from the back row? What about us? We often conflate heroism and persistence with an absence of problems or worry, when the opposite is true. It is the heroic gesture because it is hard, because it is desperate. The widow Jesus spoke of wasn't going to take no. She had no material assets, nothing to bargain or negotiate with, except her commitment. Her desperation to be heard, to be seen, "Do not ignore me," was her cry. When Bree Newsom grabbed that Confederate flag, she was grabbing everything that defiled our history: the lynching parties, the false rape, the Jim Crow pain of shepherd and not equal. Bree Newsom had done hearing the word no, but are we done? Are we done hearing the word no? Bree Newsom was willing to be arrested, to be punished. As she was hauled away, she recited the 23rd Psalm. "Yea, thou walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and staff, they comfort me." 45 minutes, Confederate flag was restored, a sight in the wind. Persistence is easy, but justice is not. The widow understood justice takes hours, even days, even years, and for some, justice never comes. But she persisted. The women who want a different world, who work for peace, who fight for justice, for reparations, demand respect. Bree Newsom, in the aftermath of her disobedience, said, "I realized that now is the time for true courage. All of the ghosts of the past seem to be rising. Soon we will come to God's table to receive that which we already are, the body and blood of Christ. For we are the bread that is broken out into the world to feed a world hungry for the justice and goodness of God in Christ Jesus. And we are the wine that is poured out into the world, a world thirsty for the knowledge and love of God in Christ. And while we don't have to go out to give, to love, to serve, or to be persistent to serve, for God loves us anyway. But we get to give, to love, to serve, and be persistent in thanksgiving for all that God has given us, our lives. And as Bishop Curry reminds us, we are the Jesus movement in our time. So on this Women's Day Sunday, I am in my home church, among my friends and family. I am here to say to you, St. Thomas women and men, now is the time for true courage and persistence. All of the ghosts of the past are rising. We need our Savior. We need our faith. We need to be persistent in prayer. And like Jesus said about the woman who anointed him, that the gospel will be told in memory of her, in memory of you, where you continue to be persistent in the pursuit of justice, so that all may live in peace with grace and truth and love. Amen. Amen.